Hey, my name is Samar. I also go by Sam or First Time Panner. Any of those you want to call me, you can. This will be a follow-up to my Sephora collection Precious Gemstones kind of like swatch video. It wasn't really a review because I had never used them yet. And I said that for each palette I was going to do 2 looks, and today I'll be starting with the titanium quartz. I'll only be talking about and using this titanium quartz palette today, but if you want to see swatches and a general view of all 4 of these palettes, check out the video that will be in my description box and linked at the end of the video, because that one contains all 4, but I will also be doing the other 3 palettes in videos shortly after this. I don't know exactly when they're gonna go up, if they're gonna go up like one after the other, but all this week you will see all 4 palettes. Again, here is what the titanium quartz palette looks like. This might look a tiny bit washed out because I just got a new light set up, like a ring light and a stand, and I'm trying to play around with the light settings, but in the other video that's linked, I did swatches in different lighting, so lighting with my regular light, bathroom lighting, and then natural lighting. And here are the arm swatches or hand swatches of the palette. I haven't decided which looks exactly I'm gonna do, like which shades I'm gonna use for each look, so while I'm thinking about that, I'm going to prime my eyes with the Milani eyeshadow primer. This is the primer that I use every time I do my eyeshadow, so for me this is just a standard application. I will be doing my eyes one at a time, but just to start, I'll be setting both of my lids with my eyeshadow primer with this first shade right here, and I'll also make sure to use every shade in the palette at least once. Before I start, I just want to say I'm not a makeup artist, so don't judge my application. This is just to show you the colors. I don't claim to be better at makeup than anyone else. None of these shades have names, so I'm just gonna point to them in the pans, but I'm gonna start with this deeper matte right here and put that in my outer corner. I'm also going to put it on my lower lash line and put it a tiny bit up into the crease. Now I'm going to take this lightest colorful matte that's right here, and I'm going to use that as my transition shade and on my entire lash line. And I am using this on a fluffier brush. With the other one, I was using a kind of flat packing shader brush. And I'm gonna go back into that shader brush for my lower lash line. I'm telling you, I'm not a makeup artist. I'm all over the place. To soften the edges of that transition shade, I'm just gonna go back in with a little bit of that first kind of like, for me, skin tone shade, and I'm gonna buff out the edges with that. I'm pretty satisfied with the mattes on this eye, so I think I'm gonna go into the shimmers. So just standard practice for me is to put the NYX glitter primer on my eyes whenever I use a shimmer, so I'm sorry if you feel like that affects the first impression look, but this is what I always do, so this is how I'm gonna judge this palette, just like I would use any other palette. I think I'm gonna take this like really bright kind of duochrome shade and just put it all over my lid. Like I said, I've never used these before, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea how this is gonna turn out, but I feel like I just want to try it. That is so impactful, and again, it probably would be slightly less impactful if I didn't use a glitter primer, but in my opinion, I feel like that's the most fair way to judge something. because it really does help any sort of shimmer or metallic. I'm gonna take this slightly smaller crease blending brush and kind of just blend my crease just to help that shimmer like fade out into the mattes on my eye. That's something that I do with pretty much every eyeshadow look that I do, just to help things look a little more diffused. It has nothing to do with like if this eyeshadow didn't blend, I just always do that. This is what that looks like with just those three, well technically four shades on my eye. I think I am going to go into, I'm gonna take this shade right here in the corner, which is actually a metallic, and just put that on the outer corner of my eye, just to kind of make this shimmer on my lid blend into the mattes a tiny bit more. And I'm just gonna use my finger to apply it. I did bring that a tiny bit into my crease. Now I'm gonna take this shader brush. I've like wiped everything off of it, but I'm gonna do the same thing with it. I'm just gonna use it to buff everything in together. Those blended together so nicely. It almost looks as if this is like a trio chrome shade, where this is like an additional flip, just because they like meld so nicely together. These shades really work well in combination with each other. I usually would put one of the shimmers on my lower lash line as well, but just for simplicity, I think I'm gonna leave it there. And I'm going to add eyeliner and mascara, and then I'll be right back. Here's the finished look for this eye. I love it. I added a little wing as well. But I think this is so pretty, and it was really simple to do once I figured out what I wanted to do. But this like light blue topper shade, it's like almost a topper shade, not really because it is opaque, but it is that really smooth and thin formula that's like super sparkly and ethereal, and it's like it's glowing. It is so pretty, so I love that. And now I just have two more shades that I need to use in this palette, which is these two. Again, I've already set my eyeshadow primer with that first lightest shade, so I'm gonna go all over my eye with this shade right here, and I'm gonna use that flat packer shader brush. Again, as a transition, I'm going to use this fluffy brush with this lightest colorful shade, but I'm not going to do it too far out. I want to keep this look a little bit more condensed and smoky. I'm gonna take a pencil brush and go into this brownish metallic sort of shade that looks like this. I'm just gonna put this all over my lower lash line, and I'll go from there. I'll see how that looks. I just want to know, even though I had a lot of that on my brush, like I put way too much on this pencil brush, I don't really see any fallout on my face, and I didn't get any powder in my eye, which happens a lot whenever I do my lower lash line. So I just wanted to point that out as like a pro for this palette. Just to blend things in, I think I'm going to take this pencil brush again and just put a tiny bit more of that shade on my outer corner, but very close to the lash line. I just blended that shade up and out a tiny bit, but I didn't create a wing. The last thing I'm gonna do is go back into that first shade that I put all over my lid and just pack it on a tiny bit more on the outer half of my lid, just to build up the color slightly more. But yeah, I think that's it. I really like this, the simplicity of it. I love all matte looks, and then I love like a pop of a metallic on the lower lash line. So I'm really satisfied with how this turned out. I'm gonna add just some pencil liner and that mascara, and then I'll be right back. Here's the final look for this eye. Again, I really like it. I think it's so beautiful and smoky and sultry. It's really pretty. And just my final thoughts for this palette specifically. I think the quality is amazing. Sephora collection has had really amazing quality in their eyeshadows ever since they started doing these 7-pan layouts. Again, I haven't tried doing full looks with any of the other 3 palettes, but considering the past quality and the consistency in their palettes, I'm guessing it's pretty much the same. But if you just want to see the confirmation of that, or you want to see the looks with those palettes, stay tuned on my channel this week. But yeah, I highly recommend this palette. I think it is so pretty. The one thing I will say about this palette is that the purples, so like all 4 purples, the 3 mattes and the 1 metallic, they are slightly close together in tone. Again, when I did those swatches on my hand, you could see the differences in them, so they're not dupes of each other, of course. But I will say they are pretty close together to be put in the same palette. But that's definitely, personally for me, I still am happy that I have this palette. I don't regret it. I think you can, as you can see from my eyes, you can get different looks out of this palette. So yeah, again, I highly recommend it. And again, I did want to put these videos up before the fall Sephora sale, because these are Sephora collection. They will be 30% off. So yeah, definitely get them if you're interested, because usually, I can't say for sure, but usually Sephora discontinues these 7-pan palettes at the end of the year, or they only release them for about a year and then they move on to a different line of these 7 pans. But that is it for my first impressions 2 looks 1 palette for the Titanium Quartz Sephora collection Precious Gemstones palette. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if there's anything else you want me to include for the following 3 palettes. If you feel like I missed anything, let me know. I'll definitely include it. But I'll just have to see you in my next video. Until then, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching. Bye.